honestly, if there's one thing that has to go wrong with this podcast, it's either lighting or sound. I just can't win. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Let's Get Kraken podcast. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate that you did. If you are a new viewer, also welcome to my little cove. I also greatly appreciate you clicking on this video and coming to hang out with me. My name is Eden. I'm the owner of Kraken Made, where I sell hand-dyed yarn, hand-painted progress keepers, and other handmade treasures. You can find me on Instagram as Crafting Kraken Made. You can also find me and my own pattern designs on Lovecrafts and now on Ravelry. No longer pay hip because it just didn't make sense for me to have 3 platforms to put patterns on. But all of the patterns I talk about and where you can find me and all that good stuff is down below. So, I've got a coffee with me here today. We're going to do our best to get the sound to work and the lighting to work. I know that's just a thing that I just struggle with, and that's okay. I think it adds a little character to the podcast, I guess. I apologize for the last episode. The sound was actually pretty wonky once I went through it. I did my best to try and fix it, but whatever. I've got some just knitting to show you. I have one finished object that I worked all morning on to be sure that I had it finished for this podcast today. And basically, they're just little cast-ons that I've been trying out. I've been struggling with like up and down emotions, so if I feel like casting something on, I'm sorry if you can hear that noise. It's the pipes. The tricky thing about this spot is that the water pump and pipes are right behind me, right behind this wall. So sorry. What was I saying? Oh, just up and down emotions. Like some days I feel super creative and super motivated to do stuff. Other days I just go with what my brain wants to do, and that is totally okay. So I've got some little cast-ons, I've got finished object, and some, little things to talk about. Actually, I feel very professional. I made a little list so that I wouldn't forget. But we're going to hop into the yarny part first. And before I get into that, I actually wanted to just say thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the podcast and has stuck with me for this time, because I just remembered at this moment, I forgot to put it on the list. The podcast is 3 years old now. Last Monday was its 3-year anniversary, which is crazy. I can't believe I've been doing it for this long. And it's always been a little podcast, and that is okay. It means that the people who have subscribed and have been with me on my little journey through yarn dyeing and polymer clay and the ups and downs, I just want to say thank you. And if you're new, consider subscribing. I don't know. It means a lot. I'm a little podcast. I've never taken off. I've never been trendy. I do this for kind of my own enjoyment and to show off my business stuff, and also to give me motivation to finish objects. That is a big thing about it. I just needed motivation to finish stuff faster, and it has helped me to do that and to open up to designing and to other things, and I've met so many really cool people through it. So I really want to thank you for your support, and I hope to keep going, even if sometimes it's a little rough. But yeah, if you haven't subscribed, do consider subscribing. It's just click that little button. I'll show up in your feed every other week. And we have a little time of enjoyment here. And sounds of walking. But I'm scared to use the word that scammers have been linked to that has been happening on a bunch of podcasts. Turn my computer back on. So I'm not going to say the word, but I would love to share some things with you for your support. And I will talk about that in the end of the video. And if anybody talks to you, it's not me. Well, I usually say thank you. I'm terrible at this. Oh my goodness. It doesn't seem like I'm doing it for 3 years. But watch out for those scammers. If they ask you to contact you or send you information of any kind, it is not me. If you get a reply from me, it's usually a thank you or answering any questions that you have about the podcast episode. Those are the things I reply to, and I'll be talking about that yarn sharing, try not to say the word, verbally in the podcast next time. And yeah, so that is that. Might as well just get into the yarny stuff, okay? I am wearing a knitted object. I did not knit this though. This is the Nurtured cardigan by Ozetta, and my mom knit this years and years ago. And she was kind of going through her knits, seeing what she actually wanted and what she didn't want, and she's like, hey, do you want this cardigan? I was like, absolutely. It is, if I remember correctly, she knit this out of 100% wool. It's a worsted weight. I don't know what it is, but it's 4 colors, faded. It's just awesome. It's got pockets. I love it. It's super comfortable. For me, wearing 100% wool, it is a little scratchy, but after 5 minutes, I don't notice anything. It feels completely fine on my skin, on my neck and everything. I'm not that sensitive to it, so it's awesome. But very cozy, and in the spring, I often just wear it as a jacket. So yeah, that is that cardigan. And the cutest little buttons. I don't know if you can see, but look how they're sparkly. I love it. Okay, let's start with a finished object that I worked so hard on this morning to make sure that I got done. Ooh, they're socks. Hang on, I'm just gonna go grab sock blockers so you can really see these. Okay, so my first finished object are my Implexus socks. So this is my own pattern design, originally called the I Do socks. When I designed them a couple years ago, I had designed them for me and my husband to wear on our wedding day, and it was awesome. And I decided to knit another pair and to redo it in an easier construction. I'll just put them on. Sock blockers here. So originally they were knit with size 2mm needles, US zeros, and the construction was really weird because I needed the right stitch count for the cable, and it kind of made the pattern a little more complicated. And so I revisited it, knit this pair, and was able to make it so much easier. These and the new pattern, trying to keep up with my brain, is knit on 2.25mm needles, US 1s, and you kind of just increase and decrease, and the rest of the sock is completely normal. So if you are used to knitting socks, these will be such a breeze. The only thing I changed in this pair in particular from the pattern is, instead of a German short row heel, which I left in there and I love doing, I just did a slip stitch heel flap and gusset because I've been really into those lately. So the yarn is Treasure Chest by K-Zip Knits. It's this really cool mix of like blue, we got magenta, we got purple, we got brown, we got red and gold. It's just so cool. And the pooling, I don't mind that they're completely different on the sock. Your attention is kind of drawn more to the cable than the actual sock. So they are very different. But that's okay. I don't mind that. I love how they pooled. It makes it more interesting while I'm knitting the foot. And I knit the medium size. It comes in a small, medium, and large. And oh yeah, this is just a scrap. I have no idea what the name was. I had gotten a scrap off of another knitter, and it didn't come with a ball band or anything, but I thought it popped very nicely. You can kind of see the little, I don't know what you call them, X's? Stars? I like to call them stars. Above and below the cable. Yeah, so these are now called the Implexus socks because it is the same as the Implexus sweater that I'm designing, and I love these. And this pattern has been reformatted and is now available on Ravelry if you want to, if that is more your thing. And they are still available in the new format on Lovecrafts and my website. So whichever floats your goat. But I just love these, and I'm so glad to have them done. The thing I noticed with these socks, and I think you can notice them on the blockers too, is the first sock, which is this one, I knit while on our weekend trip to the island that I talked about the last podcast episode. Yeah, and I forgot, I had a henna done by a local lady that was beautiful. It's fading a lot, so that's what that is. But the second one I knit here at home, and you can kind of tell that I was a little bit stressed on the trip, and then at home I was much more relaxed. Can you see that? It's not by much, and once it's blocked, I'm not even gonna tell. But that's quite like a gauge difference. How crazy is that? But knit exactly the same yarn, same needles, just the situation was different, which was interesting. So Implexus socks. Oh yeah, and this is great for a fingering weight sock set because a 20-gram mini is totally enough to do both socks with the color work and the cables. So if you have like a cool sock set that has a very like bright contrast, this would be amazing pattern for it. Oh, that's how much I have left over of the main. It's actually quite a bit. So I'll probably make a granny square and then throw this into my neat ripple blanket, which I have done a bit of work on in the past couple weeks, but not enough to show. I think I'm going to do one more session with it and then I'll bring it back onto the podcast because it is a blanket. I don't want to bore you with it and show it like every time. So that's it. The other sock I have the first one done. I'll have this sock done next time. Is my opal sock. So there's the first one. Oh, I could just throw it on a side block. Fancy. Fancy, fancy. Look at that. So much neater. So yeah, this is a loyal and true friend. I have this available in the shop. And all my opal is on sale right now. So if you want some like really nice sturdy workhorse socks, it's a great yarn for it. And summer sock camp is coming up. It's like in a few months. I know it's not soon. But anyway, to stock up on like some fun sock yarns, I have a really good one that's summery. It's like bright orange with yellow and hot pink stripes. Great summer sock. But this is a loyal and true friend, and I really love the colors. On the sock, I just did a normal vanilla sock, 64 stitches, slip stitch heel, flap and gusset, and then a balloon toe or an umbrella toe. Depends on what pattern you go to, but it's rounded, and I've never done that before, so I'm gonna give it a try, see if I like it or not. The toe on my Implexus sock is just a regular crease. You catch near the end. I guess you'd call that a wedge toe. And I've just got the cuff done, and I've just begun on the leg. And attached, actually I have a brand new progress keeper. I don't know how well we're going to be able to see this. Maybe I'll do this one. This one's kind of better, but this is a brand new painted progress keeper. Hopefully. Oh, the shadow. I'll put in a little video of it getting real close, but it's a brand new painted progress keeper that went to the shop last week, and it is a tiny little campfire. See if I can block the way. Can't see me. Don't look at me. Come on, camera. Kind of. I'll put in a video. But that one's a little clearer than the one I have attached to mine. Usually if the resin pour I put on top of my painted progress keepers doesn't go well, there's always at least one, which is just an accident, but it's a happy accident. I keep that one. It's just on the sock there. I've just got it in actually a brand new project bag. My mom and I had gone to a spring craft fair. Hang on, I've got to put this down. And a bunch of local, I live in the Caribou region of BC, and so lots of ladies from around the Caribou area came to a craft fair in Lackahash, and it was so awesome. I haven't been to a little craft fair in a while. It was so great. I think my last craft fair was Christmas time when I was in it. So we went to a spring one, and anyway, why am I holding out the sock? This lady, she doesn't have a website or anything. She just does this as a hobby and sells at markets. But it is the most amazing little sock bag. It's called a saddle bag, so you can attach it to a saddle because this is cowboy country. It's just so awesome. I just hold it from either end. You can zip it up. And I actually had both sets of socks in here, and they fit perfectly. Just gonna put that in there. It is the most happy fabric. I mean, come on. Yellow with some beautiful blue roses. I think they're roses. I say they're roses. I love blue roses. That was actually my wedding bouquet. Was blue flowers and blue roses. Which I still have actually because we bought fake flowers so I can keep them forever. But it kind of reminded me that, and the yellow just brightens my day every time I see it. And since I'm on that subject, I'm just going to do acquisitions with the projects at a time. I also found a project bag for my husband if he ever wants a new knitting project, or he actually does cross stitch as his main hobby, and this would hold a cross stitch project perfectly. Oh my goodness, how cool is this fabric? Like, come on. It's Lego bricks. He adores Lego. Big Lego fan. If you look around our living area, there is a bunch of Lego sets. I personally collect brick heads because I really enjoy those. But he has the bigger sets and the cooler sets. And I thought this was so him. He just loved it. And when he has a smaller cross-stitch project, he'll put it in here. I think it's just a plain, oh, no, it's got a funky inside. Hang on. That's the inside. How fun is that? It's just such a happy bag. I could probably steal it from him. He'll be watching this episode. I could steal it from you. I could use it in the meantime until you're ready. Maybe. I don't know. I'll be respectful. Just use my bag for now because it works great and it's my favorite. It's my favorite bag right now. It's just got a plain blue inside, but it's nice and shiny. So those are some new bags. And then I'm going to probably go through these pretty quick. But another pattern that I am revisiting to kind of adapt, and also I would like to put in more sizes, is my Muria hat, which is a DK weight hat that you knit like a regular hat, and then you turn it inside out so that the pearl side is facing out. But the brim, there's going to be a picture so it will make more sense. The brim is completely reversible. I cast one on in a deep sea tangle. It's my own hand-dyed yarn. This is the Whirlpool DK, and it is just this gorgeous rustic green that I love, and there's not much of it. It's just a little bit. So yeah, I'm just changing my gauge for it because I found the first one, it only comes in one size and it's slightly snug on my head, but it worked great for my younger brothers who wore it so often. So I'm changing my gauge to be a little bit bigger, and then I want to make more sizes to be more head size inclusive. Muria toque, DK weight. I'm doing this on 16-inch circulars, 3.25 millimeter needles. Don't know what that is in US. Sorry. Oop, Peter going down. But I just got that started. So there's not much to see. But I just got this in this bag from Two Sticks and You. Oh, I could actually show you. My camera is that good. Okay, last thing is an interesting new design idea that I actually came up with last week. I think is something that I wanted to visit. I have a scrunchie that is actually on my head right now, but it's huge. Like, it's most of the size of my head. And I love it. I use it pretty much every day. I had gotten this from a lady in Ucluelet who didn't have a online website or business card at the time. They just do markets. But I got one from her, and it was her jumbo size scrunchie, and I love it. It's so handy, and it's very sturdy, so I can wear just it. If I want to put my hair up in a bun, it'll hold. And so I wanted to recreate this giant scrunchie. So I'm doing a little experiment. You can see right there, it's a little bit. Let's see if I can just do this. It's some lace, which is insane because I don't do lace. It scares me because I don't know if my brain could keep up. But I want to do a series of knitted jumbo scrunchies. And I'm doing it in a different method than what I've seen. Some people have done this, but very rarely. Is that you're gonna knit a tube. Instead of knitting from the inside of the scrunchie and increasing out, you're just gonna knit a tube and it's just gonna scrunch together like a scrunchie is supposed to. Exactly the method of a sewn one. But I was just testing this lace last night. I have another little painted progress keeper. This is my little Nebula. Come on, stay still. which I love, and that's available in the shop. And this is just a mini from Tofino Knit Co. from a very long time ago. I don't think she has this anymore. Yeah, so it's just experimenting with the lace, and I'm really enjoying it. I really like this little design. It's very simple. I can easily wrap my head around it, and once it's blocked, it'll become really pretty. But I don't think I'm going to finish this one in particular because I'm not sure if a mini is going to be enough yarn to make it the size I need it to be. I just measured this one and was going to aim for around the same size. But I'm doing this on 2.75 millimeter needles. Does it say? US 2. There you go. It's just a fingering weight. So I'm going to create a lace version, a stockinette version, and a textured version. And I don't know if you would like those all to be separate and they'll just be super, super cheap patterns, like $1 each, or if I just make it a series and put it all in one, whichever you like. But yeah, so I'm probably gonna restart this in this lace in a different yarn that has more. Ooh, maybe I should just use my leftovers. Probably make a good stockinette version. Thinking. But yeah, this is what my brain wants to do. It wants to knit a bunch of little tubes, which kind of leads me on to my next work in progress that was also a complete random design. And I almost forgot to show it until I just realized I'm talking about this. It reminded me. Isn't it nice? I'm gonna go grab it. Forgot about my coffee again. It's going cold. Happens every time. Though I just don't shut up. So it's my own fault. But anyway, I have another little tube. And I had put a little story up on my Instagram seeing if somebody could guess what this is, and nobody could guess. I'm sorry. It's kind of unfair. But could you guess what this is? I'll give you a minute. Comment down below. What do you think this is before I say? Ready? Okay. It's a hair rod. So, I see it on social medias all the time of people doing these overnight curls with this giant rod, or some people just do it with socks or leggings or leotards, like so many different ways to do it. And I was like, hey, I could make a knit version of that. So it's just this long rod that you put on your head, and then you wrap your hair around, and you have it a little bit damp before you go to sleep, and you just sleep with it on. You have the hair secure on it. You wake up, beautiful curls. So I'm attempting to make one, and my idea is that I'm going to make the rod and then hopefully have enough yarn to make 2 matching scrunchies to go on either end, and that will hold my hair. And this is the yarn I'm using. This was a yarn I dyed quite a while ago, and this is my last ball of it, unfortunately. This is LACY Sea Star, and it is on my Superwash Merino DK. I basically stick with dyeing my Whirlpool fingering in DK because that is my favorite base. And also this base I found is quite splitty, so it was just an experiment. I don't know if I'll be able to show it. Let's see if I can. But, oh, that darn shadow. I don't know. Very distinct strands that often come apart while I'm knitting it, and so I wasn't completely happy with this base and decided to stop getting it. But I have a bunch of it, so if anybody's gonna go through the split yarn, it's me. I'm gonna do it for you. I will make the sacrifice to knit all the things with this yarn. You're welcome. But I'm actually really happy with how this is turning out. So I need to knit a bunch more, and I'm just doing it in a tube. I did a Judy's Magic cast on, so it's completely closed at the end. There's just gonna have to Kitchener the other end. You're gonna stuff it to make it a cylinder. It's not gonna be like a square on the inside, it's gonna be a circle once it's stuffed. Yeah, so this is an experiment design. It's very weird, but I don't know. It's worth a shot. I am knitting this on size 3.5 millimeters US force. Just knitting it magic loop. You could easily do this. What am I saying? On DPNs. That's what I was saying. But that's my other design experiment. Will it become to be? I hope so. I really do. And that's just in my other 2 sticks in U bag. Got some. So cute. Yeah. So that is all my yarny stuff. So this is gonna be a cut that's gonna come in earlier, but I completely forgot to talk about the sharing event. I'm gonna call it the sharing event in hopes that I'll keep the spam people away. In celebration of 3 years. So for subscribers only, I'm giving away some oh, dang it, I said it. I am sharing. It got me. I'm sharing this yarn. So this is the Release the Kraken sock set. And it is on our doubloon sock base. And it is a 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. It's both main and mini. It's a super pretty mix of like purple, blues, and greens. I think I've got, oh yeah, pops of like pink and gold. So good. So good. Then I'm also be giving away a painted Progress Keeper of your choosing, which will be another prize. So I'm choosing 2 winners. 2 people to share things with in celebration. 2 subscribers. So be sure to subscribe, and I will be picking a comment that I don't know, seems weird to say, like, to congratulate me, but say happy 3 years in your comment at some point, and that will enter you in to receive one of these prizes. This is really hard. One of these things of your choosing. Oh my goodness. Anyway. Yeah. Do that. If somebody asks you for your information, don't answer them. It's not me. I will be announcing the subscribers in the next podcast. Okay? Safety. I have a little bit of life stuff that I wanted to bring you guys in on. So, if that's not your thing, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful time and that you will have a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, whatever time it is there that is full of yarny goodness and joy. And do consider hitting the subscribe button on the way out. Thank you. I'll grab some knitting while I talk. Probably my sock. Because that is fairly easy to do. Anyway, a little bit of life stuff. As I said before, I've been rolling with how I feel in the day. Today I feel pretty good. Today I feel motivated and I feel a little more, I was about to say uppity. I don't think that's the word. Springy? Skippy? I don't know. I feel joyful. I feel uppity, which is nice. Yeah, with all the things going on, if living in a new house and working on my business and trying to keep it consistent, I guess, it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy. And with so many family members struggling with health issues, it's been really stressful. And quite often I'll wake up in the morning just burnt out. And I just take those days to do what my brain feels like doing. If that's casting on a new design and figuring out the stitch counts and the yarn amounts and the gauge, those are things that I often will go towards when I'm not having a great day, because the puzzle of figuring it out is very satisfying to my brain. So that's kind of the reason I have a bunch of new cast-ons and why I don't have any progress on the sweaters that I have on the needles. That's okay. I have been doing work on my Implexus sweater pattern, which will be going into testing hopefully in the next couple weeks. I just have a couple more things to do. And yeah, so that is that pattern. Where's my list so I actually stay on track? I showed you the little painted progress keeper, and I am painting almost every day, which is actually an incredible thing to do for work, and also as something to keep my mind busy and my creative flow still going, which I love. So if you're interested in the shop, there's a bunch of hand-painted progress keepers in there right now that need to find a home, because I keep painting and I'm gonna run out of space eventually. But anyway, which leads me on to the next subject. As you hear the springs go, the chair video. So the chair I sit in, I completely redid for this podcast space, and I absolutely love it. And I said last week that I was going to release the video of me doing it. And I was so excited. I sat down, pulled out the footage, and was like, okay, I'm going to edit this. I'm finally going to get it done. And the videos I took were terrible. The sound was terrible. The lighting was terrible. I kind of jumped in weirdly and didn't even think about the fact that there is no flow to any of the videos that I took. And I feel really bad about that. And so I made the decision not to put that video together and release it, because it is not the quality in which I'm okay with releasing. I do struggle with good quality videos. That is apparent. I do my best. But sometimes footage is just not good enough. It's not as well made as I would hope it to be. So there is not going to be a chair video, unfortunately. If you like, I can throw in little clips of the footage that is actually good. Maybe I'll make like a mini short out of some of that footage to put onto the channel. That might be a good idea. Anyway, so my captain's chair is just how it is. And I'm sorry I couldn't bring out that footage. I'm really sorry. But anyway, it is what it is. And it seems that podcasting is kind of the thing that I do the best. Mainly because it's easy to just sit down and talk to a camera and show off all the things that I've been working on. But yeah, Ravelry is a new thing. I actually put in the work of uploading most of my patterns onto Ravelry. There are a couple that I still need to fix because they still say Yarrow & Co. on them. And that was my old business name, if you don't know. But they are on Ravelry, and I have a page, I have my patterns, so if you want, you can go and get my patterns on Ravelry and have them in your Ravelry library. That's the word I was looking for, in your Ravelry library. And I will probably create a podcast group so that we can do knit-alongs and stuff like that, which would be very exciting if you're into that. That would be cool. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out Ravelry because it has changed since I had left a few years ago, when it had gone through a complete change, and then there was that whole kerfuffle with how... Anyway, that's behind me. It's behind everybody. You kind of have to forgive and forget, and you come back on, and it's such an enjoyable platform now. They've put work on it, and they've made the changes that they needed to, and they made it more friendly and acceptable, and I feel comfortable being on it once again. So now patterns are on there, I am on there. There's a link in bio, so if you want to go and follow me, that would be awesome. I didn't know that you could follow people on Ravelry. I'm such an old person. On the inside, I'm learning. But Ravelry is there for your pleasure. Okay, yeah, and I reformatted a lot of my patterns, like the Implexus sock, and I fixed up some of my other patterns that needed touch-ups before they were uploaded onto Ravelry, and they've been changed on the website. And Lovecrafts, they're still in Lovecrafts too. And so I did a lot of work on that, which was fun. Then my last thing, I had started a new project in making kombucha, and I'll put in a little video here. Their names are Fred and George. So we have 2 kombuchas going. One is a pineapple flavor and the other is a lemon mint. And my mom and I had attempted kombucha quite a few years ago, and it didn't quite work, mainly because we had moved from that house to our next house at the time, and it's kind of hard to move fermented things, unfortunately. And I've been doing sourdough for a while, and I really love it. But sometimes I can't keep up with sourdough, having to be fed more often than a kombucha. So I'm hoping kombucha is kind of more my pace, that I feed it and I put in all the ingredients that I need to and then leave it to ferment for a little while. I'm not going to forget about it. Probably not, because I love drinking kombucha. I don't know if anybody else here has made kombucha, if you have any tips for me. But yeah, that's my other life thing, and I'm happy to try something new in the food world. And yeah, so last thing, I want to say thank you to everybody with your sweet comments on the last podcast episode, with your love towards my aunt who is fighting brain cancer. It's really sweet, and it made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. It made me feel good, and I'm sure she feels the love too. So thank you so much. Okay, that is all the things that I have to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode. If you stuck around through the life stuff when you're still here, I want to say thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, whatever time it is there, that it is full of yarny goodness, and that if you want to hit the subscribe button before you go, and I will see you next time. Bye.